This is Mac OS Ken.
A note of uncertainty. Regulators want to know more about Apple Pay and more seasons of Mythic Quest. It is Friday, the 22nd of October, 2021. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Headspace. Meditation made simple. Get a free 1-month trial at headspace.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by SimpliSafe, the right way to protect your home. For years, SimpliSafe has protected the insides of people's homes against break-ins, fire, and water damage. Now they've got their eye on the outside. The SimpliSafe wireless outdoor security camera brings the same ease of use as the rest of their gear to your home's exterior. It's got an ultra-wide 140-degree field of view, 1080p HD resolution with an 8x zoom, and an easy-to-remove rechargeable battery. No outlet required. Just put it where you need it. Great specs for your eyes outside, and it integrates with your SimpliSafe home security system, extending its protection to the outdoors. Setting up my SimpliSafe system was simple. Add in the outdoor camera, and that means every door, window, and room is protected. That is your whole home covered. Safety and simplicity inside and out. That's SimpliSafe. To learn more about the exciting new SimpliSafe wireless outdoor security camera, visit simplisafe.com/macOSKen. What's more, SimpliSafe is celebrating this new camera by offering 20% off your entire new system and your first month of monitoring service free when you enroll in interactive monitoring. SIMPLI. Again, that's simplisafe.com/macOSKen. So Mark Gurman at Bloomberg wrote a piece Thursday that kind of annoyed me. It came to us under the headline, Apple device shortages threaten record-setting holiday blitz. It's not annoying because it introduces uncertainty. These days, the sun coming up is one of the only certain things, shining its sunny gaze on a world filled with uncertainty. What's annoying is uncertainty is all it brings. I read it for numbers, for quotes from people, those with names and those sadly lacking in that department. What he quoted were a couple of notes that I've already brought you this week. The first was from Wedbush analyst Daniel Ives, calling issues in the supply chain the elephant in the room. The other was the note from Citigroup analyst Gentleman Jim Suva, saying Apple's Mac announcements earlier this week suggest that Apple is significantly better at navigating these supply chain disruptions than other companies. I think what bothered me about the Gurman piece was that it got picked up everywhere as if it was news. I don't know, I guess if Bloomberg is the only thing you read, the possibility of a rocky holiday season for every manufacturer and retailer, including Apple, might be news. Even before the Bloomberg piece, this was likely to be the crux of comments from Apple execs and questions from financial analysts on next Thursday's earnings call. How will supply chain issues affect holiday sales, and when do cooking companies see a righting of the ship? Or ships. It's not really fair to say that Gurman didn't bring anything new. iPhone 11 and iPhone 12 are apparently also harder to get than one might expect, at least if you're buying directly from Apple. Small things, by the way, you can get no problem. Well, most of them. Quoting Mr. Gurman, less pricey items that could be holiday stocking stuffers are easier to get. Supplies of the company's newest AirPods and old AirPods Pro, the AirPods Max headphones, the HomePod Mini, the AirTag item finder, and the Apple TV are all available for near immediate shipment from Apple's website and many retail stores. What you can't get is the polishing cloth. Gurman noted a significant wait for Apple's $19 hanky. I checked last night, and yeah, not bound for stockings at this point. Had I ordered one Thursday night, Apple said I would be buffing my screens between the 5th of January and the 19th. Even before this week's announcements from Apple, the Mac was going gangbusters. Apple Insider cites new numbers from Counterpoint research that show growth for the machine for the September quarter. According to the firm, Mac shipments grew 11% last quarter versus the same quarter a year earlier, driven by demand for M1 machines. The Mac's growth beat growth for the rest of the personal computer space. Overall, that was up 9.3% year over year. Something for Apple to be glad about, though maybe not necessarily crow about. Indications are that the market as a whole would have seen more robust growth if not for kinks in the supply chain. For its part, Counterpoint says those are not likely to be untangled before the middle of next year. No top 5 from Counterpoint in terms of market share, rather they ran a top 4. For the September quarter, it was Lenovo on top with a market share of 23.9%. HP was second with a market share of 20.5%. Dell was third with a market share of 18.1%. And Apple took fourth place with a market share of 8.7%. They were followed by a big gray wedge of the pie labeled Others. And now, I want pie. Another port in the new MacBook Pros is not as fast as it might have been. Earlier this week, I told you of the sort of surprising news around the HDMI port on the new machines. It's HDMI 2.0, not 2.1. That limits any 4K display plugged into it to a refresh rate of 60 Hz rather than 120. Now, iDownloadBlog has similar news around the latest laptop's SD card slot. It supports UHS 2 speeds, not the fastest UHS 3 standard. That means its transfer speed caps out at 312 megabytes per second, as opposed to the 624 megabytes per second one might see with UHS 3. How big a deal is this? Well, 312 megabytes per second sounds like a lot to me, but I'm not the person to ask. iDownloadBlog does not seem put out by this news. This isn't a biggie, as UHS 3 has yet to become fully adopted by camera makers, according to the site. Also, you'd be hard-pressed to find UHS 3 cards in the wild, according to the report. From a surprising slowness, if 312 megabytes per second can be called slow, to unexpected speed. A report from Engadget says Apple has snuck a high power mode into its M1 Max machines. What is high power mode? We don't know exactly. According to the report, while Apple was shy on details, macOS Monterey beta code suggested the mode would optimize performance for demanding tasks in return for the possibility of more fan noise. You know, this is maybe a thing Apple should have mentioned before people started choosing between the M1 Pro and M1 Max. Engadget says it makes sense that it would only be at the top of the line, pointing out that features like this, by their nature, drive up power consumption and heat, and Apple may want to make sure that there's enough battery and thermal headroom. Yeah, I don't think people are going to ask why it's not in the 14-inch machine. I think some people may wonder why Apple didn't talk about the secret speed button when they had everybody's attention. Anyway, there's a secret speed button on M1 Max machines running Monterey. Please enjoy responsibly. I said earlier that the supply chain will probably be the big topic on next Thursday's earnings call. While I do believe that, regulatory concerns may come up as well. The ruling in the Epic v. Apple case, saber-rattling from the European Commission, that stuff in South Korea. It seems like there is something new every day. Hey, here's something new today. CNET says the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau wants to know more about how tech giants are using people's financial information. On Thursday, the agency issued orders to collect information on consumer payment products offered by 6 large tech companies and their underlying business practices. The orders were issued to Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, Square, and PayPal, according to the report. The CNET piece goes on to say the CFPB is looking to gather information on a broad range of topics related to payment systems, including how consumer financial information may be shared across products and whether company policies could limit consumer choice. Hey, that sounds like the start of a question about the NFC chip in iPhone and why other payment products can't access it. So far, says CNET, none of the 6 companies have commented on the Bureau's request. More news in a moment, but first a word from Headspace. Meditation made simple. Maybe you're afraid to try meditation because you don't know how to do it. You think you'll do it wrong. Headspace really got me the day the person guiding my meditation said, "There's no right or wrong way to do this. There's no right way to breathe, and there's no right way to think. We're simply creating a greater awareness of how we breathe and how we think, and it begins by just being." That's from a meditation I did 7 months ago, and it is still in my head. I can't tell you what a difference that made, and what a difference Headspace has made in my life. Do I still get stressed? Yes. Do I still get angry? Sometimes. Do I still worry? Sure. But Headspace has given me tools to deal with all of that. And I know I'm in a better headspace because of it. Find some Headspace at headspace.com/macOSKen and get 1 month free of their entire meditation library. This is the best Headspace offer available, so go to headspace.com/macOSKen today. headspace.com/macOSKen. It will be truly surprising when Apple is not at the top of the Interbrand list of the world's most valuable brands. For now, it's just another year that ends in a number. Apple Insider says the Cupertino company has topped the global brand consultancies list for the 9th year in a row, with a brand value of $408.6 billion. The piece says that figure represents a 26% increase over last year's performance, when Apple's brand was valued at $323 billion. Please, don't remind me. I feel like an idiot. I nearly bought it at $323 billion. $408 billion's a bit out of my range. Apple TV Plus is playing with the big boys now, whether it wants to or not. 9 to 5 Mac says Nielsen, the name in TV ratings, has started tracking Apple TV Plus. I say Apple may not want to play on that field because it tends to be kind of secretive about numbers other than the amount of money it makes. I guess all streamers like to keep such things sort of hush-hush. 9 to 5 Mac says services like Nielsen have to use their own studies to estimate viewership, since streaming services typically do not release detailed numbers on the performance of their shows. One show has showed up pretty big for Apple TV Plus, and you will never get... Okay, it's Ted Lasso. The runaway comedy made its debut as the 5th most watched original series for the week of September 20th through the 26th in the U.S. That was the week after it won many Emmy Awards, though Nielsen says the show would have made the top 10 in previous weeks if it had been tracking Apple TV Plus at the time. I'm sure they're good at what they do, but the whole thing sounds a bit sketch. Nielsen's data only covers the US, not a huge surprise. Also, it only tracks content from Netflix, Disney+, Hulu, Amazon Prime Video, and now Apple TV Plus. There's probably nothing on HBO this weekend anyway. Oprah's book club is back in the stream. Mac Daily News says the queen of all media has had a chat with Pulitzer Prize-winning author Richard Powers about his latest book. According to the piece, Winfrey and Powers reflect on Bewilderment, his first novel since receiving the Pulitzer Prize, as well as finding empathy through our differences and their hopes for the future of the planet. That hits Apple TV Plus today, which is kind of funny. The day Apple's got a guy on talking positively about the future, it's also got Invasion, the limited series about extraterrestrials coming to destroy terrestrials, also hits Apple Stream today. And finally today, news to make me happy. The Apple TV Plus series Mythic Quest has been picked up for at least 2 more seasons. Cult of Mac had the show's creator and one of its stars, Rob McElhenney, making the news public on Twitter. This he did through a FaceTime call with Sir Anthony Hopkins, who hangs up on McElhenney when Jason Sudeikis beeps in. Of course, Apple made a more serious statement around the comedy. In a press release, Matt Chernis, head of programming for Apple TV Plus, said, "Just like critics and audiences all over the world, we fell in love with Rob and his team's sharp writing and full-of-heart, relatable characters that make up the world of Mythic Quest. We can't wait for viewers to see what's in store in the upcoming seasons of this brilliant workplace comedy." No word on exactly when Season 3 will hit, though the Twitter tease gave a very vague window that promised the next season after Season 2 of Ted Lasso and before Season 3 of Ted Lasso. Coming up in a few minutes, our week of talk around new Apple gear continues with MacCast host Adam Christensen. What new things does he have? What new things does he wish he had? And what new things is he glad other people are glad to have? Find out in a few minutes. Look for that show and listen wherever you get podcasts. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by SimpliSafe. Check out the new SimpliSafe wireless outdoor security camera and get 20% off your system at simplisafe.com/macOSCan. This show is also sponsored by Headspace, meditation made simple. Get a free 1-month trial at headspace.com/macOSCan. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macoscan.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.